conversation.
I looked at it on Facebook and I read the speech and I'm trying to find and I'm yet to find it.
Be a part of the debate.
What he needs to do is to allow the people to do their work in accordance with the relevant legislation, and he must not overreach, because when he makes those suggestions, he is in a sense misleading the population here.
Speak your mind. Defend your country. Call in. Numbers to call: 869-669-7312. That's 869-669-7312 or 917-460-2187. That's 917-460-2187. On target here on 2020 Vision Radio every Saturday from 1 to 3 p.m. On target. Be a part of it. On target.
So I'm your host, Kelvin Daly, and I thank you for joining us once again.
Join the conversation.
I looked at it on Facebook and I read the speech and I'm trying to find out what is the commitment to renal failure in Nevis, and I'm yet to find it.
Be a part of the debate.
What he needs to do is to allow the people to do their work in accordance with the relevant legislation, and he must not overreach, because when he makes those suggestions, he is in a sense misleading the population here.
Speak your mind. Defend your country. Call in. Numbers to call: 869-669-7312. That's 869-669-7312 or 917-460-2187. That's 917-460-2187. On target here on 2020 Vision Radio every Saturday from 1 to 3 p.m. On target. Be a part of it.
The views and opinions expressed on this program are strictly those of the participants and do not represent those of 2020visionradio.com or its advertisers.
Let us put our hands together for Pupa Wheeler.
Total zombie and beater. Take it away.
Local fans decreasing.
By the numbers they keep dropping.
Nobody don't shout
No more. Like they used to shout before.
why. Disgruntled fans they crumbling about promised songs. Fail on delivering. Start song and can't finish it.
It's standard English, singing stupidness, nonsense.
Why don't you sing a song and dance again?
Tell me what happened to me fair share. When the money disappear.
Ooh yeah, boy.
Stuart Chipping question here.
Bringing them to shout for me.
I wanted to roll, roll for me.
I'm gonna be rocking down the complex.
Yes, if they don't call me king, boy, I do me like the doctor, placing their campus suicide bomber.
Bringing them to shout for me.
I wanted to roll for me.
I'm gonna be mashing up the complex.
Yes, if they don't call me king, boy, I do it like the doctor, placing their campus suicide bomber.
Boy, bringing them to shout for me.
I wanted to roll for me.
Anything you want, you go get. Boy, I'm mixing up the soca.
With some Hindi and some rumba, chutney and lavandina.
I did not necessary.
Boy, with calypso mercenary.
Bringing them to shout for me.
I wanted to roll for me. Maintain impulso, todo zombie and Peter.
Boy,
Take it away.
I'm gonna be chartering airlines.
See bridge and see taxi. Bringing them to shout for me. I want them to roar for me. You don't know.
You got to spend big money.
If you wanna win monarchy,
I go got the diaspora.
420 in my corner. Boy, share the life, boy.
Press like, subscribe, sharing.
All here the diaspora's king.
Your king go be knocking down your airport.
Knocking down
Hospital walls.
training
Geothermal. Let the Jewish people sing the song. These Hebrew boys don't understand. Begging them to shout for me. I want them to roar for me. I'm rocking down the complex.
Yes,
If they don't
Pro me king. Do it like the doctor, president, campus, suicide bomber.
bringing them to shout for me.
I want them to roar for me.
Anything you want, you go get.
Yes,
I'm mixing up the soca
with some Hindi
and some rumba.
chutney Botnia la bandera. ID don't necessary. Please calypso mercenary. Boy, bring it to the show for me. I want it raw for me. Prendete le polso. Todo so bien mira. Take the momentum. Everybody is welcome. Thank you.
Papa Wheeler.
Good afternoon, and welcome to another edition of On Target. And as usual, on a Saturday afternoon, I'm your host, Kelvin Daly. And in studio with me thus far is the man, Henry Daniel. I suspect, oh, here comes the other man, Tula Weeks. I was just about to call his name, and he showed up like a ghost. Anyway, I just called your name. I was like, where's Tulu, you know? Anyway, let me say good afternoon to all those who have joined the conversation, whether you're on the FM dial, Twitch, YouTube, or of course on the Facebook feed. We always appreciate your presence, and especially on a day like today when it is pouring cats and dogs all day. And, you know, thank God the storm has passed well north of us. And so the islands closest to the storm would have been St. Martin and Anguilla. And it's heading in open sea. So the next stop for that storm looks like it's going to be around Bermuda. If it keeps on its present track, hopefully it swings further north and avoid any landfall anytime soon, because it has intensified. I think at this moment it's either 4 or 5.
What?
And so it is dumping rain all over the Eastern Caribbean. This is a huge storm, but thank God it has missed us by quite a distance. So, you know, everybody's breathing a sigh of relief.
Tulu will tell you the prayers of the people.
I always have a conflict with that, you know, because you see, when he prays, it misses you and it hits somebody else's island. Then you wonder, well, maybe they didn't pray hard enough.
They didn't pray hard enough.
You know, so I don't like to say these things because, you know, I got family and friends in almost every island, and I don't want to know that my prayer saved me but destroyed them. Okay. So I prefer to leave that unsaid.
I'm somewhat in agreement with Dr. Daly. I don't normally pray and ask the Lord to send the storm somewhere else.
No, you pray to avoid it.
God is sovereign, and I ask Him to protect us in the midst of whatever He allows to come our pathway, because Daly is right. When I pray and ask Him shield Nevis, then it goes to St. Kitts or St. Martin or Puerto Rico somewhere else. And we have friends, family, and they're human beings there also. So,
all right. It's pouring outside, so if you hear all the noise on the roof, we have a galvanized roof, and so you will hear the sound coming through very hard when the downpours hit us. I think it's still on the forward movement, so it's moving away rather quickly. So by tomorrow it should be in all clear. All right, and I don't see anything on the horizon coming off the East African coast, so we should be okay. All right, so let me say good afternoon to those who made podium today, especially those 5 persons. We had LCQ, Loretta Clark Queely up there in Florida. Mm-hmm. She has been managing this number 1 position for a long time. She has really put people like Jetty Taylor to shame. Anyway, Oral Joseph is number 2. IDF, Ingrid Daniel Farrell up there in Virginia. Number 3. The man, KK, Christian King, up there in Oklahoma, number 4. And number 5, Norma Jean, down there in St. Martin. Good afternoon to you, Norma.
The French is getting good now.
I'm telling you, I've been practicing in front of the mirror. You know, I've bitten my tongue a couple of times, but it's worth it. The things that you have to go through to call people correctly. Rosalind Brown, Jetty Taylor, number 6. Rosalind Brown coming up right there. And the man himself, Ivor Henry, is in the house. Olivia Queen David is with us. Good afternoon to Olivia. The best dressed man on Nevis, I don't care who says different. Patty Patty Patterson is in the house. Ermin Farrell is with us. Good afternoon, Ermin. And so is Bernadette Tyson. And my good friend down there in St. Kitts, my number one fan on St. Kitts. Not Dr. Joe, of course. Dodger Penny, number one. And at Morton, the queen from up there in Rollins, good afternoon to you. And we have Vilena. Oh, Queen V, beautiful lady. Ali, she's way down in the mix. Jessica Lois Neety down there in St. Thomas, who, despite the loss of her wonderful husband, Conrad, she is still in the family. God bless you, Neety, and our prayers, condolences are still with you. And as we say goodbye to this wonderful gentleman you call your husband for so many years, and a good friend from boys' school days for me. All right, and then we have Similata Ovaltine Jeffers. I don't know why I keep troubling Similata. I fear next time she's gonna pinch me on my ear or something.
No, she just reminds you of something that was wonderful.
It was wonderful.
Yeah.
I still look forward to my Ovaltine at nights.
Okay.
You know, but Arlene Jeffer Stanford, AJ, she's in the house. And we have Iona Dua Como Esta Muchacha over there in Bath Village. I haven't seen your beautiful daughter sign in on it yet, so maybe she's working today. Adele, she just celebrated birthday this week.
Maybe she's having a celebration for a week.
She's still celebrating.
The way how she look, I believe she got to take a month.
Yeah, boy, you know, that's a husband is a lucky man.
No, she's you can't say she's a blessed woman.
He's lucky. He's lucky. All right.
Okay. He's lucky and she's blessed.
Something like that.
Okay.
Burl Jones, my good buddy, how are you, sir? And we have Paul Pemberton and Gigi Williams Skeet is in the house. Marcella B. Queely Jones. I almost said Barbecue Jones. I don't know why. Marcella B. Queely Jones. And Magdalene Sargent is with us. So is my good buddy from up there in Hamilton, Frederick Lightbud. You know Frederick, right?
Oh, sure.
Jeffers,
okay.
Isn't it Jeffers as well?
Well, he can take anyone he wants. He's a grown man. So he said Lightbud, I go with Lightbud. Okay then.
When he check me at Jeffers.
He does? Okay then, maybe he's camouflaging. Desmond Claxton is with us. Good afternoon to you, sir. And Sir George Morris, he says he is in New York.
Well, I believe George takes in the 50 states.
I believe so. I believe so.
That is remarkable.
Dahlia Wilkinson is in the house. So is Rhonda Brown. I think she's in Florida. And then we have, who else we have here? We have Janet Grell Hall over there in, what do you call it over there now? Budgeon Range. Yes, thank you. I had a mental freeze just now. And Gigi's complaining. Kelvin Dale, I've been on from the beginning, so I don't understand just how you ain't see my name. Oh, my goodness. Sorry, my dear. It's when the computer brings it up. I show it. Jam Forbes and Erwin Evelyn are with us. Anne-Marie Nisbet Horton is with us. Catherine France. The man himself, Deacon Old Jeffers. Donna Brown is with us. And so is Raymond Walsh. I've never seen a name before. Raymond Walsh. It's a new student. And your student, if you're a new student to the show, Raymond, and you want to share and be a part of the family, let us know who you are, where you're from, you know. So we can log you beginning to as belonging to this class. Hildred Davis over there in Monserrat Village. Hamela Sutton is with us. And
that warrior.
Yes. Who else we have? I think that's it for now.
That's a big
Frankie
class.
Lawrence just clocked on.
That's a big class on this hurricane Saturday.
I'm telling you, I'm impressed. Erica Swanston just clocked on. So is Carl Brister and Steve Mills up there in Canada.
Juancito.
Mm-hmm. He calls me all the time.
Steve.
Mm-hmm. And he says to me, Daly, I got 2 seconds to talk to you. 2 minutes, sorry.
And you work out to be at least an
At
hour.
least 20 minutes.
Okay.
So when you tell me 2 minutes, you know, I got to sit down.
Because you know you're bracing for 20.
I got 20 minutes.
No, he has material. That's it. He has material.
Oh my goodness. Steve, the way chatting you, boy. Roberta Chapman is in the house. Good afternoon to you.
So what, that half Spanish
I
and
do
half
it.
English?
I do it.
Roberto is Spanish.
Roberto
Spanish.
Chapman.
And Chapman is English.
Well, maybe he was born in Santo Domingo.
to an English mother.
Maybe that.
Okay.
I don't know. Or maybe just like the name Roberto.
Or maybe he married to a Spanish.
Maybe that. And that is her pet name. It used to be Robert.
And then
but
call him
since he married
Roberto.
the Spanish woman, you're Roberto!
The Spanish getting real, boy. I'm telling you.
What? What?
You're rolling the R.
I'm
good.
telling you. I'm getting there. Loretta Wharton just clocked on, and so is Hugh Kuhlman David. Loretta Clark Quilly saying, I swear, I feel like this is cool. Yeah, you are in school. We are students and learners, you know. We're going to learn from each other. All right. So we got a lot to talk about. But before we do, let us send our deepest condolences to the family of Yoletta Seabrooks, a stalwart of the party, one of the fiercest advocates for NRP over there in St. Thomas's, who unfortunately transitioned away from us recently. And we send our deepest condolences to the survivors, her relatives, her family, her friends.
Charlie and Donna.
Because I'm telling you, couldn't find a more genuine person in Yoletta, unwavering in her support for the party of J.W. Parry, Sim Daniel, Ivor Stevens. I mean, you name the crew.
Victor Martin,
the whole crew. And so she was there for a lot of it. A lot of it. And she never wavered.
And you remember that favorite line when they were planning to use a different vehicle to transport the ballot boxes.
Yes, she said, bring the school bus.
The school bus
to come. You tell the school bus must come.
All right, we just came back, myself and Danny just came back from the funeral of our brother Everton.
Yes.
Griffin. It was a beautiful ceremony this morning. His sisters were there. His brother Gary, who I know very, very well, very good friend, was there. And a lot of nieces, nephews, people came out in this weather.
The whole community
came out in this weather to show you what a beautiful gentleman this man was.
Terrible.
And the rain was pouring and people were walking in the rain. You can't ask for a greater send-off and sense of respect than this when people are walking through torrents of rain to get to the church. It speaks volumes.
Yeah, you're a man of integrity.
It gave me goosebumps just watching persons enter the church soaked. Most of them, a lot of them were soaked. And the attendants by the door are busy mopping, keeping the place wet so nobody slips. It was something to behold.
Remarkable.
And you know, this is how you want to leave this world. You find you live a little better than you found it.
Yes.
And it's a testimony to the worth people attribute to this gentleman, that they decided, wind, rain, thunderstorms, whatever, we're going to pay our last respects to our brother Everton.
He earned it.
And I'm telling you, it was beautiful. It was beautiful. And halfway through or 3/4 way, the power went. It did not stop anything.
No.
The power left us in the church in darkness, no music, no lights.
It didn't continue.
We continued as if there was power, because there was God above in the Holy Ghost,
Hallelujah,
giving us the power.
Hallelujah.
And we continued the service.
I'd love to hear that from you. Wow.
And you know, as I listened, I said, I wish we could, more of us could emulate Everton's behavior, conduct, and approach. He ran a business, he ran a mechanic shop, and for all these years, I know him all the time, you never hear anybody say he was rude, he was rambunctious, or to worse yet, anybody say he ripped them off or he robbed them. And that leads me, Kel, to one single point I want to make. That I wonder how Nevis is making out with a premier who doesn't have any manners. I listen to how he refers to keyboards as dunce. He says to Carlin Lawrence, go read your Bible if you don't understand. He says to Dr. Bartlett, maybe you're so accustomed to talk to animals, you can't talk to people. And he says to a young fella who asks, well, what happened to the number of women in the show? Go shave your leg. And I'm saying to myself, Nevis, how did we get to this? And that is why, Kel, years ago, while I was preparing for the elections, the Chamber of Commerce asked me to come to sign a code of conduct. I said, who? Not me. If you reach the stage already where you are a candidate of a party, how could conduct be part of your thing? You have to go sign. My view is you are a man of honor and high levels of conduct. So nobody has to go put no code before you. But this is where we are at. If at the top, Kel, you have the premier with these kinds of insults. If you go up the road and you hear somebody 10, 11, 12 years old, light with some serious bad words, putting bad words on people, would you not say, well, maybe they get the cue from the top?
Well, nobody gonna make me bad. Nobody could make me bad. So if people want to look for cues for that. Steve Mills is wishing his sister, Francisca Mills, a happy birthday today. Enjoy.
Yes.
And that's coming from Steve Mills. All right.
She normally lives in Tortola, but I think she's here.
She's here. All right. Let me say good afternoon to Hendrik Hanley and Millicent Cornelius. I haven't seen Mill in a long time. I hope you're doing well. The man himself, the best tomato grower on Nevis, Tamaki Saladid, is with us, and so is who else we have? Okay, that's it. Anyway, let's get started, gentlemen. I remind persons that the Honorable Daniel Hodge will be in New York on the 30th of this month, giving a meet and greet kind of environment there in the Bronx. And so if you want to attend, please do. And give a donation so that we can fight the good fight here on Nevis. All right?
Including Carlisle and JD.
Carlisle and JD will be there as well. All right. Gentlemen, the Carifesta will be held, I think it's the 15th Carifesta, will be held in Barbados this year. And, of course, that's the land of Mia Motley, one of our champions in the Caribbean in terms of leadership. And so the Honeybees String Band has been selected to go and represent the island of Nevis to Carifesta. And the Carifesta is from August 22nd to the 31st. So I send deepest congratulations to the members of the Honeybees. And in that contingent, shamefully and shamelessly, in that contingent of some of our best string band musicians will be none other than the Deputy Premier of Nevis, playing the greater.
Oh, he's not going as a Minister of Culture?
This is beyond upsetting. Beyond upsetting. Because, you see, our taxpayers' money is funding this 10-day trip to Barbados for Carifesta. I am happy for the young people and the not so young people in that string band. I am not happy that our tax money is being used to send the Deputy Premier of Nevis to Barbados to play the greater. I'm beyond upset. Because, you see, Eric needs to know his place. He's now a Deputy Premier of the country. He is the Minister of Culture and Agriculture. And there are some things you pass up to another, a successor, a younger person, even a not so young person, for them to get an opportunity. But no.
Also, you think somebody else could go fill in the role, right?
I mean, somebody can go.
Of course.
You got others who can play it.
I made it my business to find out if there are other persons who can play the greater.
Sure.
And of course, that's the easiest to keep to play in the band.
And the person who associate with the same band.
So you have all these young men and even a young lady, for matter of fact, in the entire expanse of St. George's. I don't even want to look beyond St. George's because the Minister and Deputy Premier is from St. George's. It is his constituency. He is their representative. He should be looking out for them to make sure people are empowered.
They should.
All right? And for him to grab this opportunity where he's going to Barbados at our taxpayers' money for 10 days. Actually, I sound like Timothy Harris. 10 days!
Go ahead.
But it was 14 days at the time.
14 days at the time, yeah.
14 days! You know, and I don't know how we wrap our heads around this idea that our deputy premier, next in line and presently the leader of Nevis, because the premier is away, is going to play a greater in Barbados for Carifesta.
I'm not startled by those things on the daily. And the reason why I'm never startled, the way he began his political career and announced his political career is focusing on money. I want my toupee and I'm going to want every cent and everything. He didn't promise us anything, you know. And yet we place him there, knowing fully well that his motive was to see how much he's going to get for himself.
But the thing
so this is all about himself
but
still.
you know the thing that pisses me off? I am told reliably that once the money reaches the bank, he is the first in line, you know.
Oh, that's what I tell you, he's all about
with the
money.
longest hand, you know.
Okay.
He is the first in line. This guy makes about $14,000 a month plus allowances. And he is reaching out in long hands to get paid.
He's the front man in the band.
What front man?
Talks about the chairman or the whatever.
They let him talk because he likes to talk.
Okay.
He's the one who introduced the players because he likes to talk. He likes to grab the phone, the microphone. But there are other capable people there to introduce the members, people who are doing that before he came. Right? But because he's a minister, he feels he should be up front, grabbing the limelight. Boy, go do some work. Go do some real work. What the hell is wrong with you? Give some young man or young lady a chance to travel. You just went to Antigua. You went down to Statia. You went to St. Martin. You went to the governor's mansion in St. Kitts. Now you're going straight to Barbados. Man, give somebody a chance, no man.
Music festival.
Give a young man a chance, no man. Give a young lady a chance, no man.
He has to be thinking like you. You began your political career looking after, and your focus, I followed your campaign, was on developing up young people. Hensley began his career even before that, but I'm looking at his political career, about helping building up young people. The whole mantra of NRP from its inception is to build up and empower young people and others in general. There is nothing in the character or the background of Eric since he announced his political career that he's interested in young people. As a matter of fact, when you look at the entire present cabinet, tell me one somebody inside there who is really interested in developing up other young people.
Let me tell you something, right? I might have been less angry if the taxpayers of Nevis wasn't paying for Eric to go.
Okay, I understand you.
So I would have been less annoyed. I mean, I was sitting with the church today, and he has to pass in front of me to get to his seat. Pass in front of me. And the devil is a bad man, you know.
True.
Because the devil get up inside of me, and I was going to put out my foot like he fall down.
I am happy that you did not follow the devil.
Let me tell you something. It was hard.
I'm happy.
I had to hold my foot.
Tell him be
praise the Lord.
Yeah.
I am so happy that you didn't do it. And the thought
then
is not the bad part, is if you had executed it, that would have become the sin.
But then you see, what I was afraid that he might have fallen upon me. And then you know what's going to happen.
You want to try him now again?
Eh?
You want to push him now again?
He may start to walk up.
Okay, let's move on. Let's move on. Move on. You were going good, but the devil just got a hold of you just there.
He's gone off course.
The devil just got a hold of him, boy.
He's gone off course.
If you don't laugh, you're dead. All right. So Eric is off for 10 days from August 22nd. They leave here the 21st, and they return on the first day of September. All right. So I wish the band well. You know, I wish Eric stays up there and don't bother us anymore. There are a lot of people like him up there. Stay up there with them. All right? You should be happy to be in Barbados, Eric. Anyhow, gentlemen. Wee. Let me. I'll be saying daily he goes tap in your lap.
How will we get so? Alvi, how you get like daily?
Yeah. Hey, if you don't laugh, you're dead. You know, you have to laugh at life now and then. So that is the Eric story. No. There is a soundbite I want you to hear before we get into discussion. This is Zook Jeffers. Forgive me again. This is Zook Jeffers, perhaps the dumbest man alive. I mean, I've always said you could put Zook in a clear plastic bag, cut off both ends, and he can't get out. And this recording will prove to you what I'm saying is true. So listen carefully to what Zook has to say on this clip.
We paid what, $3.2 million there about for that property where the Wally Water Taxi facility is. Of course, the NRP paid $4 million for 20 acres of land up there at Van Sammer International Airport. Lands and a property that the people of Nevis occupied for 50 years or more. And so we always felt, and that is why no attempt was made to pay for land that we have occupied and owned. But anyway, that is another discussion. All I'll say, if they want to go and compare apples and oranges, it's up to them. But I'll say this further, that down here at Wally, based on the numbers that I gave earlier of over 1.2 million passengers passing through that facility, I am telling you, we have paid for that facility over and over and over again. Do an average of $30 per passenger traveling out of Wally Water Taxi facility, and you'll get an idea as to what has been generated out there.
What an ass. What a jackass. No, he's saying that the NRP paid $4 million for 20 acres of land. $4 million for 20 acres of land. Land that the government of J.W. Parry bought from the Yahoods after the government, successive governments, had refused to settle the matter with the Yahoods. The J.W. Parry said, no, we have to set this record straight. We have to deal carefully and fairly with Nevisians. Decided to settle the matter with the Yahoods for $4 million. 20 acres. Hear me good. 20 acres. 20 for $4 million. He is saying, compare that to the $3.2 million that his government paid for 1 acre.
1 acre on paper, but
well, we know that.
So
well, on the paper is 1 acre.
All right.
Right? I'm not going to get into this. I'm not splitting hairs here. Because it is so ridiculously stupid to make a comparison like this. The government of Mark Brantley paid $3.2 million for 1 acre to the area where the water taxi pier is built. $3.2 million. J.W. Parry paid $4 million for 20 acres for the Van Sammer International Airport lands. He's saying that the government should not have paid because the government occupied it for far too long without paying. This is one Nevisian talking about another set of Nevisians. Mm-hmm. Because the Yahoods and Nevisians, they're part and parcel of us. Of course. They're who we are. Right? And so he's objecting to the NIA doing what is right by Nevisians and paying $4 million for 20 acres. $4 million. He has no difficulty paying $3.2 million for 1 acre. But he goes even further. And he says, listen, since that facility has been built, 1.2 million people have used it. Going and coming. 1.2 million people. And they paid an average of $30 for a ticket. Now, 1.2 times 30 is 36 million. He is saying that his government was able to collect $36 million. What kind of kunomono is this? That is a boat fee. That don't belong to you. The $30 is the boat fee.
So you should be checking the $5.
The $5 is what you collect per passenger, and you don't collect it from every passenger. Some people have passes. Some workers have reduced rates. But let us go with the $5 for sake. That comes out to $6 million gross. 1.2 million times $5 comes out to $6 million gross. He's saying that they paid 3.2, but look, they make all this money. But wait a minute. If you make $6 million gross, how much you paid for labor? How much you paid for power? How much you paid for maintenance?
Operation.
What is your mortgage fee like? So what did you net from that? Ridiculous. This guy is a dumbass.
Plus what you use to build the facility.
All right? That's part of the mortgage money.
Oh, okay.
All right? Now, this guy here is the man who they have put in charge of the Vance Amory International Airport development. He is in charge of that project, $140 million project. And if this basic math and analysis has eluded him, then what hope is there for the airport? What hope is there for the airport? So, my question then is simply this. If you are so proud of the monies you're making from the water taxi facility, what are you going to do the airport for? Why not continue the airport? Why not just expand and do the airport? Since you're so proud of the money you're making and the ease at which people are moving to St. Kitts, why are you going to put the country in debt for $140 million and you can't pay for it? The evidence is there from their own consultants. They're showing that the airport is going to make $2.2 million on its best day or its best year. And your expenditure for your best year is $5.2 million. You're losing $3 million every year. And that's why the question was asked, well, why are you going to go through this project? The dance can't pay for the lights. The dance can't pay for the lights. And so what he's saying, well, basically what he's saying in conclusion, come down by the water taxi pier because we can get you the St. Kitts for $5. We can make some money and everybody happy. This guy's in charge. This Kunumuno is in charge of the Vance Amory International Redevelopment Program with that kind of nonsensical analysis. I mean, Jesus Christ, man. Help me out here, fella.
Is he saying, Daily, by extension, that his administration would have taken the Yarwoods 20 acres of land and do the development of the airport without the involvement of the Yarwoods? The Yarwoods were not paying taxes for the land. They're done as the legal owners for the land.
Of course they're paying taxes.
Okay, good. So the government took their taxpayers' money every year while you're using their land, which means you acknowledge that the land belongs to them. Then if he were going to do the development of this airport, at this point be paying for the Yarwood for the value of their land, it would have cost $4 million, it would have cost $24 million accounting. But again.
But you realize that if you didn't buy the land, there's a limit as to what you can do on people's land, right? In terms of development. If you really want to develop the airport.
But it's not only that, Danny. It's what is fair and what is righteous and what is just.
Sure.
Yeah, but
I mean, the government paid $25.5 million settlement with the property owners of Restream. $25.5 million they had to pay. Remember, NRP had valued it and was willing to pay $5 million.
Yeah.
Brantley said it's too much. Brought in his own evaluators. They say $17 million easy plus penalties and interest. 25.5. They settled that matter. Not with the Nisbets, but with Rams.
Rams, yeah.
And let me tell you this. The Nisbets have not seen a dollar of that money up to today. The government paid out Rams $22.5 million in 2022, 2021, somewhere around there. Paid out Rams ahead of paying out the Nisbet family for their share. They have not received a dollar. Well, how are you going to pay out Rams full? Why would you pay out Rams full and not even put a penny to the Nisbets? Why? Why would you do that? Ask yourself the question. Who was the lawyer for Rams? Who was the lawyer for Rams?
Wow.
Not Mark Brantley, you know. The lawyer for Rams was the father, or is the father, of the Attorney General in St. Kitts.
Wow, wow.
The Premier chose to pay out Rams because he was trying to win favor with the Attorney General's father. So the Nisbets have not seen a penny. Not a dime. After all these years, they have not seen anything.
But Rams get.
Rams get. And Rams should not have gotten before them. The Nisbets are the one who built that facility.
Is there anything left for them?
All right? They should have been paid out first. Let Rams wait. They can afford to wait. Nonsense. Let's take this call. Good afternoon, on target.
Good afternoon, Mr. Daly.
Good afternoon, sir.
Why you batting like Vivi Richards? Oh, yeah. A lot of rain over there, too?
A lot of rain. A lot of rain.
Mr. Daly, you hear corruption?
Mm-hmm.
I hear with a few work guys, and them guys can't believe the guy has lost his way. I try to preach to them in Basket and tell them, Mark Brantley has lost his way. No nice talk and work this time, you know. This time you gone in, young people words, you gone in. You got to treat your way. Oh. Mr. Daly, continue. I listening.
Thank you, sir. Let me say one more thing. Rams have been trying to get a hold of the property ever since. They went as far as the Privy Council. They were rejected. They went back through the court system here. They lost the case in Nevis in our High Court. They appealed. They went to the Eastern Caribbean Court of Appeal and lost there. Because they were trying to get and say they should have the mortgage on the company, on the property. No, you're a third party. You didn't build anything here. Right? After the court ruled that Rams is a third party, why did Brantley choose to pay them out?
Pay the third party.
Rather than pay the original owners out. Why? Again, it comes back to the fact that you had one factor involved. The Attorney General's father was representing Rams. That's the only difference.
But Alexis made the point that paying the $3 million for the acre of land is worth it because of what is generated there. What justification he will give for them to pay $27 million for receiving and nothing going on there?
That's a good point. There's no justification. They brought this on the people of Nevis because of arrogance, stupidity. They brought it on us. When you look at the land involved at Resthaven, I think it was 1.75 acres or so close to that. Anyway.
Less than 2 acres.
Less than 2 acres.
Less than 2 acres.
The buildings were of no consequence. So what you're basically paying for is the land.
Is land, yeah.
It's a beautiful piece of land. Oh. You got seashore, you have access to Charlestown, you have access to Pennies.
Mountain and sea.
Right? Beautiful. Perfect for a small cottage hotel or small shopping mall or, tourist type development. Perfect for it. You can walk down Samuel Uncle Drive right into the complex. You can put a pier out there, nice marina, blah, blah, blah.
Boardwalk.
A boardwalk. And J.W. Parry wanted to make sure that Rams did not get hold of the property to put a wholesale market.
The people of Nevis would have gotten it.
You understand what I'm telling you? The only reason why J.W. Parry got involved in getting the property on the NRP was to make sure Rams did not get their hands on it. Because the purpose was not fit. That property would not be fit for the wholesale. That's a tourism development. Rams is not involved in tourism, as far as I know. And they would have put an wholesale out there and said, J.W. Parry grabbed it for the people of Nevis. Mark Brantley in opposition. Oh, J.W. Parry this and J.W. Parry that. Why are you getting involved in private business for? Paying too much?
5 million is too
5 million is too much. No. You know where the 5 million came from? I bet you don't know where the 5 million came from. Not just his brother, you know. That 5 million came out of a ruling by the Privy Council, you know. That the property should be valued at this amount based on their own inputs, and it's shared up in a certain way between the two contesting parties, Rams and the Nisbets. All right? So that went beyond NRP, went beyond Joseph Parry, right to the Privy Council, who have no skin in the game. They are simply adjudicators in a matter. And they ruled correctly. Brantley did not like it because he felt he could score political points against J.W. Parry and say, oh, J.W. Parry is paying too much. 1 year later, in 2014, he impaneled a commission to look at the valuation of the land. You know, it came back to $17 million.
From
5 to 17.
1 year later.
1 year later.
The price got up so much.
The price went up from 5 million to 17 million.
In 1 year. And he didn't see something wrong with that?
He was too late. He is the one who commissioned the panel, you know. He commissioned the panel because he thought Joseph Parry was lying. He thought J.W. Parry was cheating for Nisbet. 70 million came back.
So he didn't want Nisbet to get anything then, so
17 million, he couldn't get it, he couldn't find the money to pay. Court costs, all sort of costs went on to it. Legal fees, penalties, interest. By the time they settled the matter in 2022, 25.5 million. 20.5 million more than the evaluation that J.W. Parry was working with. The taxpayers of Nevis, not Mark Brantley, not Zook Jeffers, not Eric.
Me.
All of us had to pay for that money. We had to pay our taxes to pay that debt because of arrogance and sheer stupidity of this government. And then he gonna get up in the house last year and said J.W. Parry had no idea what he was doing. Nobody said anything about the tourist development. And when you went back into the books, you saw purpose acquisition, tourism related industry. But what pisses me off is that you got a government who don't give a rat's ass about people. He preferred to pay Rams full money, 22.5 million. Pay them out. Can't find 10 cents to pay Nisbet.
I think.
And we call these people Nivision?
Has no intention to pay Nisbet.
I think the people of Nevis need to let that, as we say locally, let that soak in, right, Mr. Weeks?
Yeah.
Because, and show the kind of reckless abandon that the government, the people's money, with which the people's money has been treated. So if you could buy something, you could pay out $5 million, and you drag it out to $23 million.
And then blame and then blame the one who.
That's it, let's go. Good afternoon, on target.
Good afternoon, gentlemen. Good afternoon, gentlemen.
Good afternoon.
By now, everybody in the Federation knows the recklessness and spending of this government. Everybody knows that. Everything just going down. They just don't care. In 2017, just before the last election, a rig came into Navy saying that they were going to drill for a drill came into Hamilton at the cost of over $5 million to give people in the Navy people the impression that they're going to start drilling. The drill came in after the election. The drill went back. That was $5 million cost to Navy taxpayers. And we need to know these things. We need to learn and understand these things. Over at Nisbet, you have a situation where he was the legal man in there. Monies, when the thing was sold, monies was owed to Nevis for social security, water, and electricity. And he doesn't care he didn't care about collecting the money. He's concerned about him, and it's all about him. You have a situation over at Hobart Beach where a developer wanted to develop build a hotel over there. They acquired the land to benefit. As far as I'm concerned, it seems like it's one or two persons was once they acquired the land was benefiting. So now they acquired the land. I don't even know if any money at all was paid into that loan. At the Nevis people's cost, the taxpayers of Nevis have to be paying that. Whereas the hotel would have been built, employees would have been created, people who do vegetarian, sell grown provisions and so would have been able to get a sale. They just don't care. You have a situation where the poultry farm, instead of listening to Daly to hear what Daly has to say concerning the way forward with the poultry farm, they went and ordered the farm. Where's the farm now? In a storeroom at the cost of taxpayers' money, at the cost of $3,000 per month. They just don't care. And these people, we need to wise up and wake up. They just don't care. They don't care about the local man. It's me and me and me. Once me again, I don't care. We need to get rid of the kind of situation. Gentlemen, we can't live. I don't know how we're going to live for the next 2 years, if we have to live for the next 2 years under this regime. Because he himself said, the country running on fumes. Who running the country? He run the country. If he run the country on fumes, he going to blame Harry?
Gotta blame somebody.
Look, during the time he was in the coalition government, the former PM said, send money over to him all the time. Sending money over to Nevis at a tune of over $500 million. Right? And at the same time, we still owing, the taxpayers of Nevis still owing over $500 million and counting. And shortly after that, the man said the country ran on fumes. People in Nevis take this fume business serious. It's a serious. It's not coming from us on the outside. It's not coming from this program that the countryman chose. He says so. He's the man who says so. He's the man who runs the country. All of a sudden, as soon as he can get the money, Nevis running on fumes.
All right.
People in Nevis, this country, as I always say, belong to Nevisians, not the politicians. They go and they come. We have to stand up and make sure that all rights are not trampled on. Too much advantage are being taken of Nevis. too much advantage. We need to protest. We need to wake up and protest against this kind of leadership that we have. The man don't care. When we look at the situation, right, all we see is helping those who have money and going into areas where he can benefit, not divisions. Look at the situation the other day. When the kids were supposed to go to America to get to do something to do with athlete sports, right? The kids then went up to Barbados, had to spend money, go to Barbados, spend money, get passport, go to Barbados, get the visa and all them kind of things. Come back only to find they can't go because no money there. Where the money gone? Where the money gone? These are things that people in Nevis need to wake up and see where we are going, the direction of where these people are leading our country, gentlemen. People in Nevis, wake up. We are asleep. Right. We cannot take 2 more years of this kind of leadership. The man don't cannot both Abby.
Right, caller, thank you very much. That's some very good instructions there. Wake up. All right, fellas, we got to move on because time already, hour gone already. And we ain't anywhere near the end. But I want to conclude, I want to finish this matter of the airport business because I've been tracking it. We should have had a groundbreaking by now. We have not. We should have had more lands being put under the government's control. Only one piece thus far have gone under the control of the government as an empty lot at the end of the runway or next to the runway. I understand that the government they're still engaged in finding new locations to put those persons who will be displaced.
Oh, that's part of the arrangement?
That's part of the arrangement, apparently.
I thought you would just pay out and move on.
That is what I thought, but I'm now learning that they have been actively engaging now at this late date landowners in the area to relocate those persons whose homes would have to be demolished as the airport expands. And so I have spoken to a few people. They say nobody has spoken to them. And these are persons who would definitely have to move. Well, there was an initial conversation some months ago. They said nobody have come back to say anything. So I'm wondering what kind of games they're running on people. People are anxious. A friend of mine told me he went by a friend of his there by near the airport, and the young lady was cleaning the glass, the dust off the glass. And he said, "Why are you cleaning the glass for? Because you're about to move." He said, "Well, they come long time ago and they come back, so me clean me house."
Gotta clean me house, you know.
Yeah, but that raises another question, girl. It means, therefore, there's something in relation to the price. Because if I'm going to take your land and I have to give you, then I have to go find.
But whatever, don't work it out. That's neither here nor there.
No.
Whatever they agree on.
No, what I mean is you're going to slow up the process even further.
But listen, they are finding... Listen, the big picture is this. They are trying to find excuses to delay the project. I, for one, do not believe they have the money, all of it.
Well, I don't think so either.
The last time the Premier said they're waiting to cross the T's and not the I's from the loan from the Taiwanese. A loan that is guaranteed by the federal government, by the way. Mm-hmm. They're waiting. They haven't come back to say, we have not received it, it's in our bank account. We are still waiting for the ultimate question of what Mr. Drahi would have gotten from the NIA in terms of security for his $25 million loan to the project. The Premier has not said he has the money in the bank. He told us he had the 20 million EC from National Bank in the NIA's account. He has not said anything else about monies from the other two donors or the other two lenders in his account.
But then who should we believe when it comes to the Drahi money? Because the Premier says to us that Alexis is the main spokesperson in relation to the airport and the airport project. Alexis would have said to us that there was no real guarantee on any money. There was discussion, but they didn't have any money. They were still looking for money. And then the Premier comes out and says, yes, Drahi is on board. So who should I believe? Alexis, who the Premier said that all directions and queries should be directed to all the Premier. Who should we look to?
Alexis is an ass. Listen. Let's get real.
Don't take nothing what he says.
Listen, you can't believe. Listen, the last time I asked a question about, I asked the question of the Premier himself. Break down for me the donors you have for the airport, the loans. He laid it out: $6.5 million from National Bank, US, 17 million from the Taiwanese, US, 25 million from Jahi, US. That was it. He said the money from the National Bank is in the NIA's hands. He has yet to confirm to us that the money from the Taiwanese are in his hands and the money from Jahi is also in his hands. Okay. He hasn't said. All right? I suspect that he is telling the truth with the quantum of money. Because
you could say that.
Yeah,
you
could say that.
But when you get it, you could operate like the monkey. The monkey say only what is in your jawbone is yours. So I don't believe, Kel, that there is any serious effort made to secure the money and deal with the landowners. I do not believe so. So any date that they put forward, I wouldn't believe.
But at the last opportunity, the Premier said,
I wouldn't believe anything.
The Premier said that they are working assiduously to complete this project, and they're hoping to break ground either by September or October. So the year is almost finished. And if you understand how projects run here on Nevis, especially when you're using local contractors, the last thing you want to do is start a project in October to go on break on December. Because you got to pay a holiday pay, you got to pay all this craziness. You got breaks in. Nobody starts a project in a major project anytime in the last quarter of a year.
The days are short.
It doesn't make any sense. So unless you have an international agency doing the work where they don't care whether Monday is on a Sunday, if you're going to use local contractors, believe me, you don't want to start no construction in October. Because you're going to go on break for the whole of the Christmas. You're going to go on break into the new year. Just saying.
I think the Premier's attitude towards the airport is the same attitude towards the hospital. When it comes to the hospital, he's of the mindset that starting a hospital 8 years ago and not completing it, it's basically of no consequence. We can't get along with it. And he do not say this sense that people are arguing and fussing about it, the delay, and he should not be held responsible. I think his mindset is the very same thing with the airport, that this is of no consequence. I think he indicated that the airport is obsolete, and he said, listen, if it's obsolete, it's obsolete. We can get along without it. Alexis Jeffers' mindset is focused upon the pier rather than the airport. And so when it comes to the pier, he's dogmatic about it. But when it comes to the airport, it is flipping here and flipping here because it's of no real consequence to them.
Okay, Kel, if somebody listening to this program and following all what the government say and has all the doubts in their mind, and the person says to you, look, Dr. Daly, I heard you on the radio on Saturday. I do not believe that the project will start in the next 18 months. Suppose somebody to tell you that, would you be fighting them to believe it would?
No.
No, you can't.
No.
You can't.
Fellas, we got to move on to the topic of perhaps the century.
Sovereign enclave.
And this is probably going to take us the rest of the show.
I want to hear you.
Because it's a lot that has been happening.
It's a lot of land.
It's a lot of been happening.
It's a lot of land.
Some of it quietly for the last couple of years until we discovered it. By the time we discovered it, quite a bit of land had been sold and bought by some unknown entity to establish what we call now a sovereign enclave over there in the southeast. And the evidence is there that this has been in the works for some time.
So it's no longer a rumor.
It's no longer a rumor.
It was never a rumor.
All right. We don't know because I've been checking with the land registry, for any
see anything up there?
inundation of new titles. Nothing has come. Nothing has been changed. Nothing has changed. It tells you that what we were hearing, that these lands are being the purchase is being arranged in a different kind of way. So if I want to buy a piece of land from you, Tulu, I'll come to you and say, Mr. Weeks, you got that acre you have, I want to buy it from you. We come to a price, I pay your money. You give me your sign off, you give me the title, I register the title at registry, land registry. This is not the situation here. I come to you in this new dispensation. I say, Mr. Weeks, you got some acres over there on the southeast. I want to buy them from you. But I'm going to give you 1% down. I'm going to give you another 1% for the next 3 years. And at the 4th year, we're going to seal the deal. In the meantime, you can't sell the land. You can't do anything with the land.
Can't use it.
You can't transfer the title to the land. You can't use it. But we have an agreement. So that agreement can't be filed with the registry because the deal has not been completed. Mm-hmm. There's no CO2 to file. Mm-hmm. So that is why you're not seeing any COTs at the registry.
No, because the land has been paid.
The land is being paid for.
The land hasn't been paid.
All right? And that is what they've been doing. They're making deals through a third party, all right, to tie up your land for 4 years. And then at the end, they said they promise they'll pay you. I have yet to see anybody present to me this agreement. I've been asking around. If anybody has one and want to share it with me, I would love to see it. Really would love to see it. Because it sounds too malicious to be true. But, so we all know, for some time now, that the expansive land from Long Point to Butlers, over 2,500 acres or 6 square miles of Nevis, is what they're after. Who is they? It seems to be some persons from Europe, led by a Belgian, who has made billions from what you call Bitcoin or cryptocurrency. Those artificial money people. So they're looking at home. Bitcoin, what you call the crypto mining industry, has been under threat worldwide because it basically destabilizes
regular currency.
The power. They use an enormous amount of power, electricity, to operate. And when a country like China is going to say, no more, you got to leave, when Canada is going to say, you got to cut back because you are destabilizing our power production, we can't keep up your demands with your demands. You have to cut back. China says, no, don't cut back, leave. We don't want you here. Other countries have done the same thing. Either leave or cut back because you're destabilizing our power grid. We can't simply produce enough power for you and our normal users. And so these people are looking at home. They're looking at home in a country where they have the final say. They're looking at home in a country that has weak institutions, a corrupt government, easy target. That is what they want. They want to set up their own colony within the island of Nevis, within the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis. That you and I, who are accustomed to walk those trails from Long Point to Butlers, will be barred. It's a sovereign enclave. They own it, and they will own it if we allow it. Now, I spoke to a friend of mine in New York yesterday, and she said to me, how do you know that these people will be setting up a Bitcoin or a crypto mining industry on Nevis? How do you know it's that? Or is it that they are trying to find like this, what we call this libertarian society? Like these, you know, in the old days used to call them, they call them hippie. They want to have their own country, their own colony, where they can do what they want to do, walk naked if they want to, have sex on the beach if they want to, and nobody can tell them nothing.
Because they own here.
right? And a lot of these crypto miners are also libertarians who want a free world in their own world. They want to be a part of Nevis, within Nevis, but not a part of our community.
Not of Nevis.
I said to my friend, it doesn't matter which one. Whether they're trying to mine crypto or they're trying to set up a libertarian society, they are taking 6 miles of our land.
Big time.
They're taking 6 miles out of 36. That is what they want.
Plus territorial waters.
I'll get into that. Aided and abetted, not only by the Premier and his wife, but an entire cabinet of the NIA. And now, I suspect, by the entire cabinet of the SNLP federal government, based on the law that was just passed in Parliament this week. We are surrounded, my friends, with conspirators, traitors, who see no value in the lands to the southeast. The Premier said it. People have these lands up there, they're using it. So what's wrong with somebody else use it? He said that. He said that, not me. So to them, when you see open expanse of land, it is wasteland. It is wasteland. It's not land in waiting for development. It is wasteland. It's not land in waiting for new housing for people of Nevis. It's not land waiting for new agriculture. It's not land waiting for new development. It is wasteland. And therefore, it should be disposed of. But when you give away 6 acres of your country, where are you going to expand into? Where are you going to go? But beside the expansion problem, on land, Tula alluded to it. The document I'm about to share with you speaks to a seabed lease of up to 99 years. You know what seabed lease is? Let me explain to you. Mm-hmm. The land only goes so far, and then there's ocean. Where the land stops, the ocean begins. Mm-hmm. What these people are talking about is not only controlling the land, but controlling the ocean. You see. I don't know how far out. I don't know how expansive. But that area to our southeast are some of the best fishing grounds anywhere in the Federation of Nevis, if not the best. Mm-hmm. I'm out there fishing. About some sinkers are passing me. Zoom! Gone south. Divers have conch and lobster. Pot fishermen. Deep drop fishermen. Heading south. To the same area that we are in danger of losing. Are we mad? We have to be mad?
No.
That we are going to allow a foreign entity to come in here and not only control
the
land, but the sea.
Oh, really?
This document here that I'm holding up was passed in the National Assembly, the Federal Assembly, this week, presented and defended by Dr. Douglas, by all the members of Nevis. This is a shameful document. And to hear the eloquence, to hear the belief that this is our savior. Listen, if your politicians lose your way, if you're out of ideas, leave. Do not drag us down with you. If you're out of ideas, leave us alone. Do not sell us out because you want us to report you did something. This is worse. This has no future for the people of Nevis and St. Kitts. This is tantamount to treason. Jesus.
Wept.
Something like that.
Jesus wept. Jesus wept.
Have mercy.
So, let us look at the document.
To look and see what Solomon said.
Let's look at the document.
Mm-hmm.
It reads, Special Sustainable Zones Authorization Bill 2025. Special Sustainability Zones Authorization Bill 2025. No, me don't got a problem with the title. Because you got some clever politicians out there who think they have a, what do you call it now?
A monopoly.
A monopoly.
A monopoly.
On words.
On reasoning.
And so they can change up a word and make it sound good. In the old days, when we call things as they are, this will be called an economic zone. Mm-hmm. It will be called a special economic zone.
Yes.
Now, because we are in the 21st century with smart people,
free zone,
and who people like to be the bright, is now sustainability.
Free zone. We used to call it free zone.
It sounds good and sexy. Sustainability. It makes it sound important. The UN has sustainability goals. It's the same damn thing. Because when you read the document, it's the same as an economic zone.
It's an economic zone, it's the same thing.
Right? So I don't got a problem because they're trying to bamboozle you right out the door. But let's go. Let's go. I want to read you what the bill says. A bill to authorize and empower the Prime Minister with approval of Cabinet and, if necessary, the Nevis Island Administration to enter into development agreements for the establishment of special sustainability zones on real property within St. Kitts and Nevis and to provide for related or incidental matters. Sounds good. Sounds highfalutin. Sounds innocent. Not. They went through all definitions of what it is. That's not important. Typical, this is just 99% of this bill is just fluff. You could copy and paste. Just, that's what it is. Objectives of this act. I got about, what? G? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then G has many parts, another 7. 7 objectives. You don't know when people give you all these objectives, it's bullshit. They're trying to bamboozle you. Anytime you can't disaggregate this information and look at it for what it is, you're in trouble. If you have to give 7 objectives to prove your bill, you ain't got no bill. You got garbage. Because they're trying to bamboozle you. Let's just look at one. Objective. Objective B. To enable the establishment of special sustainability zones through development agreements to facilitate long-term economic opportunities, create permanent employment, attract foreign and domestic investment, and generate revenue for the benefit of the people of St. Christopher and Nevis. Good afternoon, on target. Good afternoon, you're on target. Nobody there?
Person gone.
Do me a favor, people. Give me a minute to go through this.
2 minutes.
And then you can call. Just give me a minute, a couple of minutes to do this. Because, you know, when you're trying to in a flow and the phone calls come in, you kind of break your chain of thought. So give me a few minutes. So that was one objective of many. The reason why this bill has caused so much anxiety and angst and anger on Nevis is because the Premier, who had knowledge of this bill, who I suspect was perhaps co-author of this bill, got up in Parliament and defended this bill as expected. It benefits him. But this is where we on Nevis, with a few cells left in our brains, have picked up that the Premier has unwittingly or knowingly ceded control of the lands on Nevis to the Prime Minister. We are going backwards. And I'll read to you the section that gives us this opinion. Because the Prime Minister put on a post yesterday saying nothing goes so. That he's not trying to take control of Nevis lands. You can say what you want, Mr. Prime Minister. The bill is passed. It is here. I want to read to you a section that is going to create part of what we call the development agreement. So if an investor comes in to Nevis, for example, they want to develop minimum 500 acres. Can't be less than 500. It has to be 500 or more.
The minimum?
Minimum is 500 acres. Then they enter into a development agreement where they lay out the terms of the development, blah, 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 blah. Fine. Me not get into that right now. My concern, the concern of the party leader and concern of a lot of divisions, is this section here. Part 3, paragraph 4, number 2. I want to read it to you for the record. Where the area is within the island of Nevis, the Prime Minister shall consult with the Nevis Island Administration before entering into development agreements. And should the Nevis Island Administration approve, the Nevis Island Administration shall be a party. Remember that word, party.
Party.
Will be a party to any such development agreement. This is where
it's recolonization.
This is where I get pissed. Not only at the Premier of Nevis, not only at the two other Kunumunus who go to St. Kitts every time with him, but at the Prime Minister and the Labour government in St. Kitts. Because they should recognize that the insertion of these words here is a direct contradiction to our guarantees in the Constitution that says Nevis has control of its lands. It's a direct contradiction to our Constitution. You cannot pass no law in Parliament that subsumes the authority of Nevis on its lands. No matter who tell you do it. You will take an act, a constitutional amendment to change it. It has not been changed. But let me say this further. The Prime Minister said, no, nothing goes so. We're not trying to take nothing. Nevis can decide, blah, blah. First question. Based on the language here, Tulu, you're a developer. You're interested in doing a development in Nevis. Right there by West Haven. Why do you need to go to the federal government?
No, this is Nevis. I shouldn't have to go to the federal government.
You go straight to the NIA.
NIA has responsibility.
Okay, good. You're a smart fella.
But there is history.
Why would the government of St. Kitts, why would Mark Brantley and Dr. Drew use the word party? The NIA and the federal government will be a party to the agreement.
Federal government is in control.
Why does Nevis need the federal government to be a party in an agreement for development of Nevis? It tells you that those two signatures, the Prime Minister's signature and Mark Brantley's signature, that's a party. That is what the Prime Minister is talking about. Both are parties to this agreement. A party is not one. A party is two. So what the Prime Minister is signaling, you can't proceed even if you agree. Even if you want it without my signature.
Without me.
Can't happen. It cannot happen. So when Drew put out this statement yesterday, trying to explain that no, the federal government has no interest in controlling anything in Nevis. The law says something different. This document, Dr. Drew, says something different. So you need to go back into your parliament and amend this garbage and say, listen, we're taking our party. If Nevis want to sign, Nevis can sign. I don't need to be there. I don't need to be there. Why is he here?
There are other things on Nevis, like the hospital. When questioned about it, the Prime Minister made it abundantly clear that that is a Nevis Island administration matter. Well, how come other development on Nevis must involve him, and he has to be a signatory to that?
Gentlemen,
something's not adding up.
Gentlemen, I mentioned earlier the whole idea of our history. We have the biggest investment in Nevis, the Four Seasons Hotel, which was done by the Nevis Island Administration. All the arrangements by the Nevis Island Administration. Prior to that, we have the Land and Housing Corporation, which decided all the public lands were vested, and most of them were vested in the corporation. They have the right to proceed apace without anything. We brought, what's that hotel over there? Mount Nevis Hotel, all these things have been done. So why is this necessary now? What is so? Why do we need this now?
I'll tell you why.
We don't want it.
We're gonna get to why.
I'll tell you why. I have my reason.
That's what I'm asking. Why?
Go ahead to it.
My reason is simple. That I believe that Dr. Drew is saying that anything taking place on Nevis, the Nevis Island Administration coming down to beg me and plead with me, and I have to guarantee all of these things, and so therefore, I must be a part of what takes place on the island of Nevis, since I have to guarantee everything that is taking place. That is only my opinion, and it almost seems fair, because whenever the Nevis Island Administration find himself, and it is their responsibility to do things, and they'll admit the town and say, let us go down to him.
No.
That's my opinion.
No, you're wrong. You're wrong.
Okay.
You're wrong.
Straighten me up.
You're wrong. Drew has no interest in Nevis. Drew has an interest in controlling Nevis. There's a difference. He has an interest in controlling Nevis to keep Nevis exactly where it is.
But if I keep begging you, and if I keep begging you,
that's different. Every single act by the Prime Minister has indicated to us he couldn't care less about Nevis.
In agreement.
Saying that a child in Cotton Ground is the same child in Buckley's. That's just talk. Dr. Drew is the Prime Minister of St. Kitts and Nevis. Has he ever come to Nevis? Has he ever met with anybody on Nevis? Has he ever come to speak to the people of Nevis? 2 miles from the closest point, 5 minutes by boat. But he's gone to Africa. He's gone to Canada. He's gone to America. He has gone to Dubai. He has gone to St. Martin. He has gone to Anguilla. He's gone all over the place. Has he come 2 miles to have a meeting with the people of Nevis who are dying to ask him important questions?
No.
He hasn't. No. That's your first strike. Has he done anything since he became Prime Minister in August 5th, 2022 to advance any case on Nevis or any issue that we have brought to the fore? Electoral reform? No. Constitutional reform? No. Fair share? Dig out Mark Brantley eye. Dig him in the eye. So all of the seminal, all of the important issues that are important in divisions, somebody asked him about why is it that he is not asking for accountability for the money spent on major infrastructure projects in Nevis.
So you can't.
I can't.
That's a matter.
That's an NIA matter.
Yeah, can't get involved in that.
It's an NIA matter.
But you want to get in matter with our lands.
All right? He came and took geothermal from us. Courtesy of Mark Brantley.
He took it out, we gave it away.
Which way he got it?
Okay.
He got to a police station up here in a mess. The prison farm can't get a vehicle. Our soldiers are up in a community center for the last 10 years.
Police station.
What is this man saying? The message is, I do not care.
It looks so.
The evidence is there. I'm not making this stuff up.
It looks so.
The evidence is there for it.
I could agree with your argument.
And here comes now this big bad piece of legislation to say to us, I can't even decide if I want an investment in our country by yourself. I have to come to me.
I have to sign that.
What the hell is this?
And the Premier agree with that.
This is secession talk.
And the Premier agree with that.
This is called for secession.
Let's hope that doesn't get to that.
We have no opposition in the federal house. And I'm telling straight now, right now, I am terribly disappointed that neither Sean nor Timothy showed up to discuss this very important piece of legislation. I'm terribly disappointed. Because we knew the leader of the opposition, he might as well sit on the government side. Because there will be no opposition to anything put forward by the government. Let's take this call. Oh, he lost that call. So, here we are. The last straw. In a series of straws. The federal government is now saying, in relation to these special zones, the NIA can't decide.
No.
They have to come to me. Let's take this call. Good afternoon, you're on target.
Yeah, good afternoon to the listening public.
Good afternoon.
I quite agree with you, you know, this is a secession time. Because the nigger man only maybe feel like Davis belongs to you, you know. And the joke we have up here, who can't make a mark? Just on the mark, you can't make a mark. So you decide to give up Nevis to the federal government. A matter of fact, we're not going to federal government, you know. We keep talking about federal government, you know. Who up here vote for down there? Nobody up here vote for nobody down there. We're not going to federal government nowhere. That can sink its island government. And they're going to look after sink its Navy Jones, woman abroad, occupants and neighbors, young people. We get him out of our public affairs. He cannot handle our public affairs. We have seen that. So we ask the man to leave. Quietly, leave. And if you don't want to go, we will make him go. We make him leave. Good afternoon.
Thank you, sir. Somebody was trying to call. If you want to call, you can call back now. The line is open. And so, in terms of the physical size of the special zones,
500 acres.
Minimum 500 on Nevis, 750 acres on St. Kitts.
And Antigua, I think, is 300.
But
500 acres?
500 acres.
That's a square mile, isn't
it? Yeah, but what I'm saying is, who is that can't develop anything without 500 acres? This is a small place.
Good afternoon, you're on target.
Place. Anybody want to do a development?
Good afternoon, you're on target.
You can do that in 50 acres.
Not what they want to do.
Good afternoon, you're
50 acres of land?
Not what they want to do.
I'm getting that call through.
The
50 acres of land.
Let me go through. Let me see if we get the call come through.
Something. I lost the call. Caller, we just lost the call again. I'm sorry. But
all I'm saying is, okay,
okay, hold on. Good afternoon, you're on target.
Good afternoon, all on the panel and to the listening audience.
Good afternoon.
Yes. My little input. I agree with Kibo 100%. So I got nothing to add with that. I approve his message. And I also want to say, I am not afraid to say Mr. Premier is running a criminal enterprise, and he might be a criminal himself. I also want to say, when he won the election in 2020, I was in Nevis when he won an election, and I don't support him. But when he was going to his to the island with his motorcade, I slowed down the motorcade by my house, and they stopped, and I shook his hand because I don't think like a Nevisian now. He's the winner. I show him respect. I shake his hand, and I say, "Young man, make me a believer." If you can do that, you might have me on your side. Man, it might not only make me a non-believer of him, I just think he's the worst person in the face. I think he's worse than Donald Trump. Okay? And I also want to say, this man, he's not my premier. He thinks stealing the premier from Pat Bartlett, I will ever call him a premier. He have a gentleman in Zenzeland used to rat against Parry, and Parry was doing good. I believe I know he have an English accent. He came behind, he rat out Parry, disrespect Parry. Now you got a criminal running a criminal enterprise. He can't even get a job at Four Seasons. I think he got his own garden right now making pepper soup, whatever he's making. And for all those people in Gingerland, they're sitting down and saying nothing. Thank you, Keith, for what you just said, because I echo your sentiment. I'm quiet. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, brother.
All right. Now, other persons who are trying to call in, you can do so now. The line is empty or free.
No, Kelly, I was raising the question about, we understand development. If somebody has to have a development of 500 acres, right away you begin to say, well, that's a red flag. Nobody needs 500 acres. A square mile, so you need a square mile of Nevis to create a development in
Because
Nevis?
of what they're doing.
No.
Let's go.
That's way too much land.
Good afternoon, on target.
Good afternoon, gentlemen.
Good afternoon, sir.
Lovely day today.
I love it.
I have a couple of things. You have the devil is always in the details. I want to put a couple of scenarios to you. My understanding is that one of the things that two of the things that came out of that legislation, the possibility of seabed lease.
Yes.
And then also the zone has to provide conflict resolution.
Yes.
Well, if you think of St. Kitts and Nevis right now, conflict resolution is dealt with by our courts. Okay? The High Court and the Magistrates Court. So this says to me that this zone is going to have its own legal and court system, separate and apart from the St. Kitts and Nevis judicial system. So I have a question for you. There are two scenarios. One, Dr. Daly in his fishing boat encroaches on the seabed lease and pulls apart and gets apprehended by the said zone. Where is that infringement going to be dealt with? Will it be dealt with by the court of St. Kitts and Nevis, or will it be dealt with by the court of the enclave? Next scenario, Dr. Daly decides he wants to take a walk along the coast of Nevis from Long Point to, let's say, Indian Castle. Will he be trespassing? And if he is apprehended for trespassing, where will that matter be heard? Which court?
State court.
The what?
The state court. They tried the very same thing in Antigua, and part of the Antigua regulation when it comes to the conflict resolution, that the state would have done everything legally to fight all of the legal battles against the citizens of Antigua on behalf of the special economic zone.
Well,
and I see the same model that there is the very same model they're having here. The only difference is the title. In Antigua, they call it a special economic zone.
So when you say the state court, what do you mean? The court of the enclave or the court of St. Kitts Nevis?
The court of St. Kitts Nevis will defend or prosecute any matter on behalf of the enclave or the special economic zone. That's the way.
You sure about that?
That's the way the one in Antigua was going. And the same model here in Antigua, they had exclusive rights to certain waters. As a matter of fact, even before the enclave was developed, because it has not developed, certain areas where the fishermen used to go, they could no longer go there.
This legislation says that the jurisdiction of the Eastern Caribbean Supreme Court, the Caribbean Court of Justice and Judicial Committee of the Privy Council were stipulated as exclusive jurisdiction by the Constitution. So it seems like Tulu is right, that even though they have infractions, they have to bring those infractions to the court. And what I don't like about it, it seems as if the government is obligated to defend them.
The government going to defend them.
Yeah.
Yes, the
So
government
taxpayers'
will
money
defend them.
used to
Will
defend them.
them.
Okay. All right.
The government would have to defend them because they gave all the permissions.
True. Anything else in your mind?
Not right now. It's just it's an interesting chat. By the way, the power gone, so we're not picking you up on FM.
I have one question I could ask you, private question I can ask you, Mr. Yawad.
Certainly.
The airport lands that the government occupied for over 50 years, which Paris paid for, the family for, after all the time. Alexis Jeffers is making noise about it. Were you paying the government taxes on those lands all the years they were occupying it?
Oh, absolutely, and there was a paper trail of correspondence back and forth from 1950 something come forward to present day.
So all the way through they acknowledge that the land belongs to the Yarwoods?
No, absolutely. And as I said, there was correspondence back and forth. There have been negotiations throughout that period of time. Property tax was paid. There is no question about ownership.
And so now the present administration wanted to take it away from you for free because they believe that you should not have been paid for it, although they were taking your tax money every year.
No, the government has the right to compulsory purchase, but I think the law states that when you do compulsory purchase, the government has to pay market value in a reasonable fair market value in a reasonable period of time. So legally there ain't a question about that.
But
I've heard of squatters' rights for individuals. I've never heard of government claiming squatters' rights.
Okay.
Government has acquired lands, and throughout our history, large amount of lands have been acquired by government in lieu of property tax. Meaning the taxes haven't been paid and the bill accrues, and to compensate for the tax, the land is taken. When the tax exceeds the value of the land is taken in lieu of tax. I've heard of that, but I've never heard of a government claiming squatters' rights for private property.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Carl.
I like that. I like that.
All right.
I like that.
All right. So,
No, Kel, I was raising the question.
Hold on. It's somebody that's on the line.
Sorry.
Good afternoon. You're on target.
Good afternoon, Dr. Daly.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon to the rest of your panel.
Thanks.
Good afternoon.
I've been on and off, so I don't know if I've missed anything. But you were reading a bill there, which is quite interesting. One of the things that I'm questioning, we have so much access to radio and shows on a weekly basis. Why aren't the people of Nevis being appraised of what is coming up before this all goes on, so that we know what to expect and we understand what is it that's being signed off on our behalf? That's number one. Number two, with all of the goings on over in the Long Point area, the question I have is, Dr. Daly, I don't know if you're aware that the Inland Revenue are now doing appraisals. They're reappraising all the lands in Nevis. I heard something on the radio yesterday that it started on the 21st of July. I thought this is something that was going to be starting this week. So the question I have again is, why have we not been told in advance that this is coming up? And for those who have signed off on sales for lands and the valuation changes by Inland Revenue, how will that be handled? Who is it that sets the rules for the Inland Revenue in Nevis? Does it fall under the federal government, or it falls under the Nevis Island government?
Okay.
What's up is it in here?
You're finished?
No, can I just stay on for a minute?
Okay, go ahead.
No, well, that's the question I have, because if they're reappraising these lands and people have already signed contracts, how is this going to change the game for those who are selling?
Well,
and are they going to be losing?
Well, if you're sold prior to the increase, you can't then put on a new increase on property you sold already. So that goes without saying. In terms of the appraisal, the Premier in his press conference indicated some months ago, about 2 months ago, or maybe shorter, that the appraisals were coming, and that by January 1st, the new values will be known.
Mm-hmm.
All right. You remember the year in 2024, they had increased the rate by 28%, the tax rate, and now in in 2025, what will happen? They increase the flat rate now, the valuation, should say. So, speaking to landowners in the Long Point area, going back towards Butlers, they feel that they're being targeted by these land rates increases, because their property taxes can increase by threefold. So those persons who are holding out, not wanting to sell, they're under greater pressure now to sell, because you're paying 3 times as much taxes as you would normally pay.
But the thing is, you are now deciding that this is what this land is valued at, but somebody has come along and I have agreed to sell it for far less than what it's valued at.
That's your loss.
Legally, what claims does the landowner have to go back and say, hey, look, we need to look at this and reevaluate it?
Nope.
No.
You've agreed to sell. That is on you.
Okay.
That is on you. So if you lose, you lose. If you win, you win. But you can't go back and renegotiate something you done sell already.
The one of the other. Well, you haven't sold it yet because it's not finalized yet.
Well, you have agreed to sell. You have an agreement contract that you're gonna take. You're gonna take it 1%. You're gonna do whatever, and in 4 years the deal gonna be completed. You get all your money then. So once you've signed on that dotted line, that's it for you.
Can't change it.
Okay.
All right.
Very, very interesting things that Nivisions have to think about, and it is disrespectful, highly disrespectful in my mind, that these things are being taken to Parliament, discussed, and all of that, and we don't have a clue ahead of time of what's happening. It's like we're being blindsided.
That's the point.
We're being blindsided, and why are we being treated like this? How does the Prime Minister of St. Kitts get to sign off or decide on what our lands are over in Nevis? How does that happen?
Because we allow it. Thank you, caller.
Oh boy. Okay. Thank you.
All right.
I was asking about a red flag emerging immediately when you hear 500 acres. Immediately.
Special economic zones, that's what they go for. Across the world. It's an empire you're building. You're building a country within a country, not just setting up a business.
This is 36 square miles.
We don't care about that. Let's go.
Come on.
Good afternoon, you're on target.
Yeah, good afternoon again. Do you care anything about us? Which one are the percent that he care anything about us? Not 100% that he concern and care about us. See what you do? Go down in the house, sit down with the devil man, and create the law to take the poor people land. Because the poor people land, poor people decide to give up their land because they got the children and they got the grandchildren. And he decides he's going to take it by force. That's how the nigger man decide, you know, that he going to take our land by force. Well, Lord God, we put the man out there in there by force. Good afternoon.
Thank you. We got another call coming in. Let's take the one on the long line because I've been ringing for the longest. Good afternoon. You on target?
Good afternoon, gentlemen.
Good afternoon, sir. How
Professor.
are
you? Yes. How are you doing?
Good.
Good. I'd like to continue along the same vein of the call before the last, in that we have to decide what kind of country we want, essentially. This is one of those moments when you're essentially defining the election campaign, right? Because essentially what you're doing, yes, you can always fight an election campaign on the record of the current government, but this has severe implications for the future, all of which I'm sure you can go through this afternoon, but some really far-reaching consequences. And I think this was recognized even by the movers of the bill and their supporters. Okay, they kept emphasizing things about sovereignty, the existence of these enclaves, like for instance in Dubai, all of them were gushing over Dubai, for instance, forgetting that Dubai is 30,000 square miles, as opposed to our small little tiny, 100 and something square miles, just over 100 square miles, right? That's apples and oranges. And so we have really got to sit down and decide, well, where we want to go. Are we going to be like Bermuda with just golf courses and hotels? Is that what we want? Or do we want more balance with agriculture and living alongside other industries like tourism? Right? These are really fundamental things that we have to decide on. Are we going to be okay with the changing of the complexion, literally and figuratively, of our island? Are we satisfied with our venture so far into things like Christoph Harbour? We've all heard of the recent developments in that area. We know what was promised and what was supposed to have been delivered, and almost 20 years, and we're still far from delivery, right? Are we gonna? Is that the way? How can we prevent another Christoph Harbour, for instance? Does the bill prevent that? Okay, and so what I'm saying is that this was too far-reaching a measure to be just. It's almost like as if it's rushed to Parliament, right? There was no real debate on it. Okay, everybody was there talking up the legislation. Nobody was there to point out the pitfalls. I think it was Eric Evelyn who made a point that the government has been stung by criticism in the past about no foreign direct investment, and so it's like they just ran with this, okay? Ran into this.
I agree with you. The reference to Dubai, everybody knows Dubai is a hotspot for development and tourism, and so to throw Dubai in the mix, everybody wants to go to Dubai. Dubai has done a masterful job at advertising itself and show people the world what they can do with their money. And so when you reference Dubai in a parliamentary debate in the Caribbean, it sounds, it sounds sexy.
It's catchy. Yeah, it's catchy.
Yeah?
It's very catchy.
But, these are red flags. These are false references. Of course. We will never be a Dubai. I mean...
Exactly. And that's the whole point, right? That is why we have to be very careful. If this is a turning point in our development, we have to be very careful the direction that we take, and it should not be up to not even the cabinets of both or even just the parliament. It should involve the whole country, right? Because we should have a say in how the future of our country, the direction the future of our country should take.
How it looks, and like you made a point, how it looks. What do we want?
Yes, exactly.
Because
and you be careful in how this is presented, because you know that they're going to come with, oh, these guys are just impeding development, etc., etc., etc. Nobody is impeding development. What we want is the right development. And actually, incidentally, you have to give the premier a little pat on the back. It might have been a bit disingenuous of him, bearing in mind all the surreptitiousness is the word that is being considered right now, where he's basically in denial mode, or he's denying that anything nefarious is happening or about to happen. But he kept saying that this would be great if done right, right? Making sure he absolves himself from any responsibility if it goes south. Okay? You know, he kept saying that. All right. So but he was right in this case. We have to be very careful with it. What I would suggest though, is this should be a really burning issue. Like I said, for any election, to me, is one of those pivotal things that can sway voters. But the voters have to realize what they're getting into, what they're about to get into, or what they're about to be led into. And me for one, okay, I would really have liked to traverse that area from Long Point to is it Saddle Hill?
Butlers, yeah.
Okay. So it's beyond that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. I know the area of Saddle Hill. That's where Johnny Grant and I used to live, right?
That's right.
Right. Yeah. Okay. They're relative. So I know that area, and so it goes beyond that. But I've never been in the area between there and Long Point, and maybe as a sign of protest, either protest or awakening the sensibilities of not just Kittitians or Nevisians, but Kittitians as well. Arrange for some kind of walk-through by residents in that area. Okay? It doesn't have to be a demonstration. Because I don't know if it's like before the peninsula was developed and only accessible, before the road went in and it was only accessible by boat. Very few Kittitians knew about down there. Very few Kittitians knew about the potential of down there.
So
they just never go.
Same on Nevis. A lot of Nevis don't even know where Long Point is.
Well, they're not the deep water port, but I'm talking about the area between there.
Yeah, I know.
Right? So maybe that's a good first start in organizing it, in organizing something like that.
Okay.
So the people realize that, hey, this is not something on paper that we're talking about. This is real property, prime property, and they should have a say in what happens there.
Good point.
Okay? So it's just an idea.
It's a good point.
You know, that I thought that might help to galvanize attention on the matter. Otherwise, just like how the bills were passed and it just slipped under the radar and it's regarded as the best thing since sliced bread, and nobody seems, well, I wouldn't say nobody, but people seem ambivalent towards it and okay, it's those guys trying a thing or something like that, right? This is more than trying a thing. This is going to have real consequences, and it should be presented as such, and people only make decisions or vote on what they know. What they don't know, can just slip right under the nose.
Okay.
All right? So that's my input on this.
Thank you very much, Carl.
Okay, then.
Very much. Okay, we got a call coming in. Good afternoon, you're on target. Hello, good afternoon, you're on target.
Hey, good afternoon. I may not be on Facebook every time you guys are on. I listen to the radio most of the time. And when I have the question, I want to ask you three guys on the panel because you guys do your research before you come on, full of knowledge. Kudos to the three guys. The question I want to ask because of concern is Nevis and Sinkits all in, halfway in, partway in? Are we together? Because it doesn't seem this way.
That's a question you want to ask?
Yeah, I'm going to ask another question too.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the first question. The second one is, are we a sovereign country? And the reason why I ask that, I love politics and I do contract and contrast by looking at other places. And believe me, when Mark got into office, I admire him. That young man, such he speaks so eloquent. But then we find out it's nonsense every time he opens his mouth now. And if you look at Burkina Faso, the way how I felt, the way how I'm feeling about Ibrahim Traore, that's what I expect from Mark. Nothing we get now. So the question is, after when NAP get in power, when he gone, whenever an election held, can these things be turned around where he's doing? Are we going to be stuck in hellhole? That's my three question. I'm out.
All right.
Thank you.
Okay, we had some other callers, so the line is now free. If you want to call now, somebody was trying to call all the time and they couldn't get through. So let me see if this is in now coming on the other line. Good afternoon, you're on target.
Hello.
Good afternoon.
No, this is the first time I'm calling. But I'm here sitting and listening, and I'm getting very upset. And I just start thinking about secession. We have a clause in the Constitution that gives us the right to leave this federation, or whatever you call it, on our own. I am asking you, Mr. Bailey, Dr. Bailey, if you can use one of your Saturday afternoons and let us discuss the secession issue.
Okay. I promise you we will do that.
Thank you so much.
Okay, kind. Good afternoon, you're on target. Hello, good afternoon, you're on target.
Yes, good afternoon, gentlemen.
Good afternoon,
and, listeners.
Good afternoon.
I have to weigh in on this one because I think, for starters, Nevis has a premier that has an administration to run a whole island, 36 square miles. Why not in 2025 we are listening to this man go down to St. Kitts? Don't know whether he's going as premier of Nevis or going as opposition of the federal government. That is the first biggest problem that we're having. Just like we would have said, you don't know if he's with the buyer when he's selling land or houses or property, or he's with the government. That's the first protest. Man, well, they should not be premier of Nevis and still holding the opposition leadership of the federation. Mr. Timothy Harris is showing me that he's weak. I don't care whether he got 3 seats over there, and he had 1, and Sean has 1. It doesn't make good viewing at all. Mr. Emery gave it up and allowed Mr. Malcolm Richard to be the leader. Why does Mark want to be it all? It cannot be, it cannot work. That's the first problem. The question I have right now, if Sink is trying to get into this kind of arrangement that he's supposed to have where it requires a premier and the prime minister, if Sink is selling land, does the premier, if they're going to do business in Sink, does the premier have the right to sign off on what is happening in Sink?
No.
But then it's absolute nonsense then. Where's the fairness in this and where's the balance? You can tell me over here When I'm selling, I'm involved. When you're selling, I'm involved. And when I'm doing my own thing, you're nowhere in the picture. Time to stand up. And Nevision must look at it as one of your callers said, not as NRP, not as CCM, not as independent, but as a person who's interested in what's happening on Nevis. That is the problem that we're having here, that we see colors, we see faces. You're not supposed to see my face on this. Can't happen. And like I said, I try to be fair.
All right.
One caller said that Sankis have a government. No. Just like Nevis has a government, it should have been there where Sankis have a government too. That is not right, it's not fair.
All
So
right.
these are things we have to look into.
Thank you, caller. All right.
Busy.
Let it call.
Good afternoon, you're on target.
Big issue.
Hello,
Yes, good afternoon to you guys, man.
Good afternoon.
Let me ask you a quick question.
Quick.
How much teachers we have on the panel? How much teachers we have in the house?
2 teachers and a teaching assistant.
Okay, so
Certified.
you know, a caller was comparing Mark. A caller was comparing Mark to Abraham Traore. No comparison there. As a teacher, we know what a report card is, right?
Yes, yes.
We know what the report card is.
What's the question?
All we got to do right now is to take that report card and of Mark. We look at his record.
Mm.
Abraham Traore is doing for the people. Mark is now going against the people.
All right.
You know, even let me use one of his terminologies. Even Stevie Wonder can see what he's doing to the people of Nevis at this point. We need new management. We need new managers of our money. You know, and what has happened on the peninsula, if Nevis people don't stand up right now, it's going to happen on that south side. They're going to put the pressure, they're boxing us in the ready. They're going to put the pressure through the taxes because they had an increase in property taxes this year, right? And that law that they have that they didn't reevaluate the property value for 17 years, they're doing that exercise right now. And he said that they're going to complete that exercise by November. And when they do complete that exercise, another property increase is going to come January of 26. So we will see 2 increases in property taxes in 2 years. And they're going to squeeze the people that way. And with this bill that they pass, the sustainability zone bill, they're going to box us in from both directions now. What my recommendation is right now is that we protest when we are so dissatisfied at the moment, when the issues are hot. Let's hit the streets and protest at that time. And the last thing I might want to say is, at the top of the airport, the people that own those lands at the top of the airport, as a way of protesting, they should stand their ground and do not move from there. They should not take none of that money from the premier, what the prime minister has guaranteed him from National Bank for payout of those persons on the top of the airport, because realistically speaking, the airport runway don't really need to be extended. The rich millionaire aircraft is landing there in Nevis already. The American Eagle was coming already, and we don't have the traffic flow. And when you play that tape with Alexis, when and how that airport will repay for itself. They're going to drop Nevis into a $1 billion debt in no time. That's my contribution, man. You guys have a good day. Thanks.
Thank you. All right. The lines are now free. I think a caller was trying to call in most of the afternoon. They just keep missing it. So if you want to call back now, the line is now open. It's been.
So what happened, Kel? You have opened a can of worms and now you have the lines open.
No, it's not a can of worms. It is important for the people of Nevis to hear from them.
Good afternoon, caller. You on target?
Yeah, good afternoon again. Hear me ask the young people in this little country, what kind of Nevis they want? They want a Nevis so they only could go from one section to the next? Or they want a Nevis that they could go throughout the land as they wish?
All right.
Which one they want? Because let's say to them, the future, them future.
All right. Thank you very
much.
much.
Ask them to stand up and defend the future.
Okay.
Stand up and defend your future. Young people, you can't afford to let a nigger man here bring your future down the drain. The man there who spend $10,000 a day for the next 500 years. How much can you spend? You can't spend $1. Good afternoon.
All right. Okay.
Let me answer Hensley a bit there, because Hensley need to understand that in the special economic zone, it's not that they're coming in to set up a hotel and a golf course. These people are offering real estate. So they buy out these 600 acres of land, and then they're selling it back out in plots and lots to the billionaires to come in. And all the money that is going to come in is not going to be coming through the government treasury. It's coming into the special economic zone.
So not here.
Let's take the call.
Simple, not in
Not here. That what we need to say.
Gentlemen,
Okay, let's take the call.
Good afternoon, you're on target.
Good afternoon again. It's like callers don't want you to go home.
Let me tell you that way.
No, they don't want to lose the land.
Okay. This matter is throwing up all sorts of conundrums. Here's another one that I don't think people have considered, especially landowners in the area. By law, the seller, at the moment of transfer, has to pay 10% of the value at closing. Now, if inland revenue value, if you sell it for $100 purchase price, you would have to pay $10. Okay? However, if inland revenue value it at $200, even though you're only being paid $100, you have to pay $20. Mm-hmm. You have to pay the 10% on the value put on it by inland revenue. Now, if the sale doesn't occur for 4 years, there is a distinct possibility that the value may have increased, and therefore the 10% that you're paying, and the seller is the one who has to pay that 10%, not the buyer. Therefore, the amount you have to give government will be greater, because 10% of a larger number is a greater figure than 10% of the original number. So I would like to say to the sellers that if it wasn't in the contract that you've signed, that if the valuation put on the property by inland revenue is greater than the purchase price, then the seller has the right to pull out of the contract or to increase the price to alleviate that additional 10%. It's a dangerous thing, and if you haven't got it, try and get an addendum to the contract, because if inland revenue, especially if they're revaluing property now, puts a higher figure on it, the cost of the sale to you, the seller, is going to be higher, and you'll end up with less money in your pocket.
I think the caller prior, about a few calls back, was alluding to the same thing. But I would suppose that if you are signing a contract today, I mean August 16th, at today's prices, that will be the effective price for which the tax will have to be paid, not
absolutely not. You are absolutely wrong. It doesn't matter what you sell it for. The value for taxation is based on a valuation by inland revenue that has nothing to do with the purchase price. If you're my friend and I want to give you a piece of land, but let's say to save face, I say, look, here's an acre of land, but I'll sell it to you for $100. Inland revenue does not accept $100 as the value. Inland revenue comes in and does a valuation of, say, market valuation of the land, and that is what the tax is paid on. So even if you give a piece of property to somebody for $0, you still have to pay a 10% stamp duty on the value of the land that has been placed on it by inland revenue. So
then
the actual purchase price has nothing to do with the value placed for stamp duty, which is 10%.
But even if you have a contract, showing that you entered into agreement in good faith, that you paid this amount for it, you're telling me that Inland Revenue would not recognize that as valid?
They do it all the time.
Okay.
And they have a reason for it, because sometimes people will undervalue it in the contract to try and alleviate the taxation. So, in fairness to Inland Revenue, they are doing it based on the value of the land, regardless of the purchase price.
Do they also advise you if the land is overpriced?
Hell no.
Okay then. Thank you very much, caller. I learned something today.
One way, Ken.
Another call is coming in. Lord of mercy. Good afternoon on target.
Yes, good afternoon again. Let me throw something in here, right? Let's go from the negative side.
Hold on, caller. It's now 20 past the hour of 3. And
okay, just let me get to it, man. Let me get to it. Let's get to the negative side of that bill. Like one of the other callers asked, even though we are kicking up so much storm about it right now, is any of this will be reversed if any one of the politicians, new politicians, go in there? That's number one question. And number two, I want to ask something to you guys, straight to your executive for you guys. When we talk about not having one person in two roles, a federal role and a local role, I don't know how you guys' constitution set up in NRP and the executive or whatever, but we saw that the leader of the party has run in the local government, local election. Or you guys are going to put the leader of the party to run in the federal, for a federal seat as well? And how are you guys going to handle that in terms of, I heard that, I don't know if this is true, but you guys are like not really wanting to have the same person in two roles. And how you will handle that going forward? Being that you have your party leader already captured a local seat, is she going to run on the federal side? And I'll leave it there. And I would like to get that question answered, especially the second one. Please, thanks. You guys have a good day.
Well, put it this way. I can't answer for the party leader. So if that is a question for me, I can't answer that. That's a question for the party leader to answer. So I suggest you tune in when she's on her show and ask her a question. But I wouldn't want to pretend that I know the answer to that. Good afternoon, on target.
Dr. Daly?
Yes.
2 callers back, that was where my questioning was going. Because when you get into a contract where you're holding for 2-3 years, a whole lot of things can change. And one of the quick questions I have right now is this coincidence that these lands are now being reevaluated at this time? What's really happening to the people of Nevis? We need to get together and put our heads together and think and discuss this. This is no longer a party thing. This is about our future, our children's future. My dad is dead and gone, and he worked hard to have his hands on what he left for us. And here we are going to lose it if we don't step up, the people of Nevis, and come together and work together. There's a whole lot going on here that the people of Nevis don't understand. And quite frankly, we're being taken for a ride.
Right.
It's really, really sad, but we've been taken for a big ride. So the question I have is this whole reevaluations of the lands, is it coincidence? The timeliness of it? What is really happening? And why are people being held to it's not common in real estate to hold on to a contract for 2-3 years before you sign off on it. Even what the caller said about the 10% to government, even if you're transferring it over to your child and you're not, money's not being exchanged, you still have to pay the government 10%. So we are in a position where we're going to lose no matter how or where we look at it. We're going to lose. Have a good afternoon.
Thank you very much. We have a call coming in. Good afternoon, you're on target.
Yes. With regards to the tax paid by the owners, we really need to look closely at the legislation, because can the government give the ultimate owners of the land special concession, right, at the time when the transfer actually happened? So what I think Mr. Yearwood referred to may not apply in this case. I mean, maybe all those are reasons why they had to go to Parliament with something like this, a bill such as this, But like I said, there are a lot of intricacies involved here, which we probably need to go through with a fine-tooth comb and figure out exactly what this is about. Because, like I said, this can fundamentally change how we operate government here, how our taxation system, everything. And we have instances already. Like I said, I mean, it's not that we were against foreign investment. Frigate Bay down here is a classic case where you have foreign investors and local investors, and we mesh to have a really good economic area in St. Kitts. So that's a model that can be repeated, right, without having to have any special anything. Okay? And that is why I say we have to decide exactly, when I said we, the people, where we want to go, how we want to pursue this development.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you very much. All right. You see,
Take the call.
Land is the problem.
Good afternoon, you're on target.
Land too.
Good afternoon, you're on target.
Mr. Brother Daly.
Yes, sir.
Not something on the straight, but this the same as judging. And Brother Two, blessed day, and the other one, Henry Daniel, blessed day. How you all doing?
We fine, thanks. What's up?
Well, I just said something. I would like to ask a question, basically. Good day to your listeners, them too. I would like to know, what is the aspect of our people, especially the people in Nevis, when it comes to this bill that was applied within the Parliament? How come we didn't see enough of the indication outlining what the damage that it can create against the people, them rights towards land?
How come we didn't see any report on the damage, possible damage? Because the leader of the opposition, who is supposed to be bringing the information to the people, has not. So the task is left to us here on these shows. And it seems to me the task is left to NRP to be defending the people of Nevis.
And this is something we always say, it's best for now to have dialogue with the people when these kind of initiatives is taking place. So you just don't go in a parliament and say you're here to represent a part of your community. Remember, it's a nation you're representing, not just a community alone.
True that.
So I hope that these things here, the young ones, them start to do some research and analyze themselves to know how to stand for the justice and the equality. Because it's time now people have to stop being landless and start to create themselves into land. Because land is the power. Right. Not meaning power to dominate, but power to create value for what they need for the next generation to come.
All right. Thank you very much, sir.
You have a lovely day, my brother.
You too, man. All right. Now, we in all of the conversation, we forgot one thing. We have not tied in at all the special zone, this enclave that we all know is going to be inhabited by crypto miners. Mm-hmm. We have not tied that into our geothermal prospects. As I indicated early in the show, crypto mining uses inordinate amount of money, of energy. I'm wondering out loud whether an agreement has been hatched between the NIA, the federal government, and these crypto miners to say, listen, you guys are financially strapped right now. You have gotten $100 million from ECB, from CDB, and the Saudi fund, but you need another 500 million.
So we'll give you.
So we'll give you the money. You give us the special zone. We get all the power we want to run our crypto mining, and everybody happy except the Nevisian public. But who cares, right? So that interplay between the geothermal development, the federal government that has control of geothermal, the NIA which gave them control of the geothermal, and the NIA who is giving control of the land out here for the enclave, is a nice, happy bunch of people.
Scratch me back and I scratch your belly?
You scratch me back, I scratch your balls.
Wow. Whatever it is, the optics of it is wrong. It is bad. I'll tell you, it is so bad, Dr. Daly, that when the premier was in the town hall meeting in Hannes Road, when he was asked questions by Carlin, he gave the impression that he doesn't know what's going on. But all the time he was fully aware of what was going to come into our parliament.
Yes.
And so he deceived the persons in the audience. He deceived the world.
What's new?
Okay? And we need to trade back there and say, listen, this man, and having done that the way he did it, it tells you that he knew that something is fishy and stinking here, but the people of Nevis are not going to hold in.
Hold on, Tulu. He was in New York a couple of months ago, a month and a half ago, some time ago. And he came back and he told the people in New York something big is going to happen. He alluded to something big happening at the town hall in Gingerland and in Charlestown.
So this is the big thing.
But he doesn't want to say it yet.
So leave it to the Prime Minister to say.
All right, hold on. There's a call coming. Let's take this call. Good afternoon. You are the last caller for today.
Okay, the last one. As I listened to you just now, tying in the geothermal project with this possible venture, it sort of occurred to me, well, why stop there? Why not, for instance, let them, since they're so gushy over Dubai, let whoever the investors are build a palm island between St. Kitts and Nevis.
True.
And that would be a way of financing a bridge between the two islands. As well as, you can bet your life, if you got a lot of millionaires and billionaires on that island, occupying that island, that artificial island, that they would finance an airport right away. The government and taxpayers would not have to do a thing with the airport. They would find a way to build a jet strip down there, right? And to me, that would work. And we, at the same time, what we're doing is not giving away our existing land. Okay,
so you're saying let them create their own land. Let them create their own land.
Yeah, yeah. Let them create their own land, and let's have something for citizens and division in the form of some kind of bridge between the two, as to boot. Okay?
Right.
They might be able to sell that. That, to me, is a better sell than saying you're giving 1/6 or you're ceding 1/6 your land. Nobody. How many people you think in the country want gated communities? That's like one huge, big gated community, right? That's really honorable? I don't think so. Okay then.
Thank you very much. That's not a bad idea. Create your own land. You want 500 acres? Build it in the sea.
Yeah.
Fellas, this law here is now. Remember a couple of weeks ago I did a show Tulu when I said look out for legislation.
Yes, the one that when you mentioned what went on in Honduras,
yes.
And you said look out for the legislation is coming. You were reading something in the you have a crystal ball. They say something in crystal ball.
I am blessed.
You're just blessed.
I'm just
blessed with wisdom.
Hey,
yeah, but you told us it is coming.
I told you something is coming, and here it is.
Yeah.
So this instrument now gives the Premier the right to go into a parliament and acquire
take with people land.
Private land. You know, the law before speaks to you cannot acquire private land for private persons to use. This law now changes the whole dynamic. This law now, once you prescribe the area as special sustainable zone, this piece of legislation now gives the Premier every legal right to acquire it, even if it means you acquire it for private use.
It's Antigua. This model, this is modeled after the Antigua model.
So, in the end, all those persons who are holding out over there between Long Point and Butlers, you may not be having a choice in the matter. This is the last call. This will be the last call.
Last of the last.
Yeah. Good afternoon, on target. Good afternoon, you on target.
Kel, I just wanted to call in and end the show with. You guys remember that it was a land stock that ousted, I would believe, hectare, lands, and more lands.
Mm-hmm.
It was a land talk that created an uproar for Malcolm Gishard as well. So I want to know who the Premier think he is to think that he can sell off our lands and still sit in the Premier chair. It just shows that the guy is not smart, because Nivisions do not play when it comes to selling our land. And maybe somebody need to remind him about that clip he did with Hector, lands, and more lands, and then he can really realize what we are about when it comes to our land.
All right. Thank you very much. All right, fellas, I think that is it for today. We have gone now 2 hours and 35 minutes. I am out of breath. I am hungry, and I need to get some sustenance. I went to the funeral of my brother Everton. I didn't get a chance to eat anything before then. I didn't get a chance to eating after then. And so I'm running on fumes.
You're fasting.
No, I'm fasting. No, I'm running on fumes.
So you like the economy?
Right? And I want to end with a message. I want to end with a message to all those members of the NAA cabinet and all those supporters of the CCM. And I realize their absence from the debate is so shocking. I mean, I expect the absence, but this level of quiet, you don't hear even the most ardent supporters defending this. You don't hear, you're not hearing it on the Facebook, you're not hearing it on the mass social media, you're not hearing it on the airwaves, you're not hearing it anywhere. They are absolutely quiet on this.
Deafening silence.
Deafening silence. It tells you that they themselves are uncomfortable, but they're not willing to break rank. And
They will.
It's a tragedy. Because as the callers indicated, and Kibo in particular keep pointing out, this is bigger than NRP and CCM. This is the NRP and CCM. This is not an NRP and CCM issue. This is a Nevis issue. This is the future generations issue. All right? And I expected Nivisions, whether you're supporters of CCM or whoever, to step up and say, no, no, you're going too far with this.
The whole concept of taking up 1/6 of your land is in and of itself.
Anyway, gentlemen, we are finished. I will go home and have some food.
Some brew.
No, I can't drink on an empty stomach. That's against my religion.
That was green tea.
Well, that too. But we out of here. We'll be back next week, Saturday, God's willing. And I thank you all for staying the course. All of you who stayed this late, 2 hours and 40 minutes.
You're going to tell them that we're going further on the land matter next week. So next thing, you're going till 4 o'clock.
Well,
the land matter comes up next week.
we have to continue land matter. This cannot just go
You
away.
just said it, Kel. The matter has been totally left up to those of us in the NRP to ventilate. So the other side has said, I'll run with this potato, you're a little too hot for me.
I believe, though, in all honesty, having had ventilated the matter of this bill, that I expect that the conversation will reopen. The bill has not yet been gazetted.
No.
Until it's gazetted, it is not law. And I think the Prime Minister owes it to the people of Nevis and the people of St. Kitts to make the necessary amendments to this bill to make it more palatable. Have a good day. God bless. See you next week.